Turning to weather now, here's a great look at the sun poking through the haze at the Colorado Springs Airport yesterday. This is from our reporter, Scott Harrison, looking beautiful. Thanks for grabbing that for us, Scott. And we're going to send it over to Marty for a look on weather. Marty, what do we have going on today?
We do still have some haze out there. It's not quite as bad as yesterday, and at the moment there are no air quality alerts in effect for the southern part of the state, but farther north that's still the case. And it's hard to pick out how much of this is haze and how much of it is low cloud cover as looking east from up high in the mountains here near the Sangre de Cristos. This is not too far from La Vita Pass, one of our favorite shots in the morning, but it's a pretty sunrise. I mentioned the low clouds are spotty. We can still see Pikes Peak from overhead door near Powers and Galley, but I think you can make out that there's definitely still some haze in the air. The farther south you get in El Paso County, the more likely you are to run underneath this deck of low clouds that is moving in as some cooler air and some moisture work up against the mountains this morning. So most areas right now in eastern Colorado are in the 60s. We do have some 40s up across the mountains where the air is dry and it's cooled off as a result of that. And FUTURECAST is showing some of this low cloud cover around here through the morning hours. Again, it's somewhat patchy, so you may just see it for a short time, and some of you may not see it at all, especially if you're over the mountain areas. But on the plains, we're definitely going to fight with it a little this morning. Good news is that keeps the temperatures down. By 4 o'clock, FUTURECAST is showing storms breaking out primarily near the Colorado-New Mexico state line. One of the reasons for that is the northern extent of the monsoon flow is sneaking across the Colorado-New Mexico state line this morning. Hasn't really made its way up farther north. But we're still going to have some low-level moisture to work with here farther north and give it a little more time to cook up, and we may have some storms, and more on that in a minute. We'll end up in the 80s to around 90 degrees in eastern Colorado, so no more triple-digit heat. It will definitely be a cooler day today at lower elevations. We won't have as much change over the mountains and mountain valleys as compared to yesterday. And notice Salida will be up in the 90s this afternoon. Alamosa well into the 80s, and the air over the mountains looks to stay pretty dry. There is a chance for some severe weather with storms late this afternoon or more likely this evening out here across mainly the plains, so probably from Highway 71 eastward. Plenty of low-level moisture around. And again, we had a storm yesterday near the Kansas state line that was producing just about everything a severe storm could produce, including some isolated tornadoes. So this is something we'll track very closely through the evening hours. FUTURECAST will show these storms trying to blow up during the evening, again, mainly out here across the plains. Notice these are few and far between, and you get some bright colors out here. Those are the strongest storms that we're worried about. We didn't see a lot of that break out near the Front Range. I still think we could have some isolated storms around sometime late in the day. And then as we go through the night tonight, things should probably clear out some with just some patchy low clouds maybe on the far eastern plains. Lows in the 50s and 60s tonight. Check out the high country, though, dropping back into the 30s again in Leadville. Just another indication of that dry air, which is, bad news. Obviously, we've got some fires burning there. We could use some moisture up there and maybe some thunderstorms. This is kind of a neat look again from our Wyandotte camera up on top of Cheyenne Mountain. If you look down near the ground, you can see some of those pockets of low clouds that are developing as that moisture air starts to work into the area. And so we will continue to track, a few days here with less heat. I don't want to say it's going to be cool, but less hot. Still some isolated thunderstorms here and there, but intermittent rainfall. I'm not super excited about our rain chances, but again, some chances better than no chance.
Yeah, that's true. And I like the pastel sky, but it does show that it's still very hazy out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that. It's a little bit better with the new front and the new air mass coming in. It's cleaned it up a little bit, but it won't be perfect.
That's nice. Okay, well, good to know. Thanks, Marty. And when we come back,